everybody. So we've done Torchlight 2 on this channel before. I have a very long series of it, actually. And so I decided to come back to the original, which I had not played on my channel yet. Fuck it, I don't care. Let's just do this.
The disturbances in Torchlight.
Sometimes you have to go back to the OG.
So we're going to play Vale, because Commander Vale was my favorite NPC from the second game.
I came to restore the flow of Ember.
Commander Vale started her career as a shooty bang-bang person.
It would be a test of both my
Before we knew the alchemist was a giant douchebag, because alchemists always end up being giant douchebags. Something about turning lead into gold seems to be a douchebag trend. But
wow. Sure, whatever. Right,
join.
So you can still zoom in like you could before. Mouse wheel zooms in and out. And your character has this little glow around them if you're behind an object, so you can still see where you're going.
We did an outline.
Man, I have not played the original game in fucking forever.
Hello there.
That's a really long time not to play something.
Vosman, Scholar of Ember. I traveled to Torchlight to study the vast supply of Ember below, but these creatures make it impossible to obtain the samples I need. Perhaps you have more courage than these miners. If you brave the tunnels and bring me a sample of gleaming ember, I'll reward you well. It shouldn't be difficult. Look for the ember on the first floor of the mine.
Does he have a pleasant British accent? Because if he does, the next thing you know, he's going to go study Hobbes and get murdered by them.
Duran the Transmuter. Who are you? I don't know.
Hello!
What about this guy? What's your deal?
Good day.
Right, okay, so none of you have anything to do.
What can I do for you?
Oh, you're kind of cute.
Beer for later, go away now.
Tree is kind of a cute character, actually. Okay, so here's the stash. I don't have anything in it right now, but... Lord have mercy. This is interesting.
The Lord's mercy is infinite, but sometimes he gets a little riled up, burns places down.
Very funny. There's a dead monster over here in the middle of the town. There's some more dead.
Stay out of the way.
Hi guys, what's up?
I am not a monster.
Over here! I can't hold them back much longer.
You alright, Syl? Rest here a while. I'm going ahead to finish the job.
Okay, and you just fuck off, huh? Okay, whatever.
It's no wonder Master Ulrich sent for my help. The Ember mines are overrun with these creatures.
Hi, Syl.
His letter was urgent, but I had no idea how dire things had become.
Yep.
I am Syl, and that was my companion, Brink. We've only just arrived in
Syl
Torchlight,
and Brink.
and it looks like we're going to need some help.
Why is your buddy's name Brink, lady?
You look capable.
Syl the
and I can pay
Brink?
you well.
That's kind of a joke.
Please, catch up to Brink before he gets himself killed.
Okay,
You
lady.
have gained
Hold
a task.
on. I still need to look around here, though. That's the shared stash. Why are those not in the same place like they were in the other game?
Well, because they learned. I'm doing the finger guns right now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how it's doing.
It's like you go on break and then you come back and the entire storeroom's been put in the wrong way. And the one guy that's been left there the whole time to do one thing, you know, move one box from one side of the facility to the other, has somehow managed to be the most industrious he's ever been and rearrange the whole place.
In a glow with ember. I've never seen
someone had time to write something before animals murdered
labor to extract
That's
it
good.
and take no heed of my
What's it say?
warnings. I cannot blame
right
them.
now.
I too
okay.
could not resist the pull of ember.
Says,
This ember
we're all going to
is the
die.
same as
Huh.
that
Oh,
which
that's a
afflicts
little
me.
big.
The taint within it resonates
Breach
with the
Hall all
corruption in
die,
my
even had it
bones.
underlined.
I can feel it so
I
clearly.
don't know why I ignored that
It
part,
springs
but
from the
here we
depths
are.
and flows up through the veins. To purge myself of this evil,
I'll put
I must
excitement
find
marks
the
on it next
source.
time.
Sure, whatever you say, buddy. I don't know what the fuck you were talking about, but you were talking about it.
Well, in general,
Little bastard upstairs.
gets up, leaves.
Yeah, right? So fuck this.
That seems unfortunate.
Okay,
Bye.
that's completely empty. We're gonna go this way. Can't go that way either.
Well, starting to sound like a bad day.
Ratlins! Ow! Well, I wish I hadn't done that. Stupid. Oh, look, spiders.
Yeah.
That didn't take long.
Well, you know, it's just not a fantasy game with looting and shooting if you ain't get some spiders.
Got ratlins and spiders.
Well,
That's a decent ricochet. That thing. Hey, spider, get out of here.
you bother me, spider. Get on out.
Something like that.
He just scuttles out all sad like.
Boots. Unidentified
Are you-
ring. How do I do
Boots,
my inventory
what
again?
people usually use to dispatch spiders.
Well, you know.
And for you, I bequeath a boot to the head.
Lovely.
Oh, that's an old skit, dude.
Oh, I know what it is.
I think they should have been suspicious when that giant pile of boots was just sitting there. But sometimes people just go, meh. Why not?
Guess I can't. Can I not equip that helmet? Weird. Okay, whatever. Old ass arms. Spider! More Batlins, more spiders. Hey, you,
The desire to die.
a town portal scroll, I'll take that. More ratlins.
Welcome to Rattling High.
Why are they high?
Well, they're rattling.
That's no excuse.
What did you expect them to do?
Cannibalize their own, murder things in their general vicinity.
Oh, so they can't enjoy Warpstone on their own as a responsible ratlings. I see how this goes.
I mean, maybe, but they don't tend to.
You can't partake. Yeah, they do. I've read a lot of Warhammer Fantasy. They're just like, huh, it's a green glowing stone that does weird things with touchy stuff. Guess I'll eat it. They can produce flames and power giant lightning guns. What's the worst that could happen?
Everything?
Not good enough reason not to try.
Well, that too.
Oh man, Skaven are the best. And you know when they stop being the best?
When?
When you have to
Found a
paint
gun.
40 of them for one unit.
Yeah, I could see that being a slight problem.
It's like, oh dear God.
Considering how many you have to have, yeah, that would follow.
And that's like a undermanned unit, effectively.
Hey, get up.
I thought it was a blessing when they brought the plague monks out for them, because they have cloaks on and it's really easy to paint them.
Well, they had other units like like the warlocks or some of the heavy armor guys. I'm spacing names right now.
Storm Vermin.
Yeah, thank you.
I like the Storm Vermin models. I wish they'd bring it back. They were one of the better ones.
Which is especially goofy when you consider that the storm vermin actually existed in the frickin' video game.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of hard to have Skaven and not have Storm Vermin.
And yet they do it in the actual game.
Well, that's because they don't have a
Oh,
right
where?
and proper Skaven faction, effectively. They have a kind of Skaven faction. That's it.
The kind of.
Well, they just haven't really done much with them to give them a.
Oh, I found the Gleaming
Quest
Ember.
complete.
Awesome.
a kind of feel of their own.
Guess that
I
makes
think
sense.
that's the best way to put it.
Probably.
But no, they were a fantastic unit.
Spike. Over here. That is a
No.
dead fucking end. How lovely.
They were important enough that they actually have a paint named after them, though. Storm Vermin Fur. It's a dark gray.
I guess that makes sense.
And that's our lesson today about how sad of a human being I am.
Dude, I really don't think you're the only person who's ever played Skaven.
No, I tried to play Skaven. Then I went, oh my god, my hand hurts.
So you mean you tried to paint Skaven and decided against painting?
I got one unit and then I'm like, I don't have the ambition for that.
Gain in experience.
And then my local shop wasn't carrying much in the way of Skaven anyways.
Yeah.
But they are fun as a faction. So I switched over to everyone get ready to be surprised.
Like lore-wise, they're fucking hilarious.
High elves.
Yeah, not overly surprising.
And then they also stopped carrying stuff for them.
Yeah.
I actually don't blame the shop. We were at a period where we're entering into GW not caring.
Yeah, you're not
So,
wrong about that either.
So the shop was just like, well, not enough people play it, so we don't really stock much. So I had gotten a few things for it. I probably lost more than I remember. But Warhammer Fantasy just kind of died at the local shop. So
Well, it's because, you know, to be fair, Games Workshop was kind of killing it too.
they did. That was a decades-long death that they gave Warhammer Fantasy, and it was
They died
all
in that
their
barrel.
own doing. But it's what led me to playing 40K
That makes a certain amount of sense.
and picking every faction.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody wanted anyone to.
Dude, I like the Imperial Guard, and let's be real, even they get treated like third-class citizens by Games Workshop compared to the fucking Space Marines.
So just to give everybody a fun one, I started playing Chaos Space Marines because I thought they were fun looking. I was like, oh look, these guys are like evil Marines. That could be cool. And you know, when you're at a place where most people are either playing Space Marines or Imperial Guard or some other Imperial faction,
And let's be real, even the Guard players are much more rare.
no, they are. There's like a couple of them at most. And I think there's really only one guy who seriously collected them. But, you know, there's some handiness to playing a bad guy group, so
Yeah.
what was there at the store was Chaos Space Marines. So I was like, oh cool. Unbeknownst to me, as I started playing Chaos Space Marines, the edition after the Codex everyone like screams about being overpowered for Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, that kind of figures, don't it?
So I'm like, these guys are neat. I'll play them. Yeah, after it was beaten into the ground.
Yeah, not especially helpful.
And then what do I play in the book? Iron Warriors. I'm like, hey, these guys sound like gigantic dickheads.
Well, think about it. It took us up until literally just the other day on an offshoot fucking game that Games Workshop does to find any actual Chaos fucking Guardsmen.
Oh.
Because they hadn't fucking made any. All they ever had was like Chaos Space Marines and Chaos Cultists. Despite the fact that everybody that knows the lore knows that there are fucking traitor factions of Imperial Guard that are with the Chaos. And yet there's never any fucking Chaos Guardsmen.
There's an older novel I read where it actually deals with Chaos Guardsmen fighting like this Imperial Guard unit. I can't remember if it was last.
So how many years do you figure it's been that they've said the Chaos Guardsmen are a thing and there haven't been any actual ones to get for the army?
Let's see. I believe, and this is the sad part, is that Forge World made a Traitor Guard army, and it was for the Siege of Veracruz. But I don't remember when they made it. It was all resin, and it was Forge World exclusive.
Oh my god, they pulled that bullshit?
And Games Workshop never aired, and I think that's like the only place that we ever had Traitor Guard until Kill Team made the Blooded.
That sucks.
And the Blooded are a just...
Wow, okay, Vale, that's a hell of an outfit you got there now.
are like kind of a super generic bad guy.
Yeah, it was like, that's the sad thing. It took all these years for them to give us an actual not exclusive and stupidly hard to get and decent looking set of Traitor Guardsmen.
And oh jeez.
And it doesn't even came from the main. It doesn't even come from the mainline 40K. It's from the Kill Team box.
Yeah, it's a Kill Team box. By the way, if you're interested in 40K but you don't want the same expense, take a look at Kill Team.
Yeah, that's fair. Although honestly, as much as I like Space Marines and 40K and the even the recently updated Age of Sigmar stuff, it's getting harder and harder for me to talk up Games Workshop in any degree.
I'm not talking them up. I'm just saying, like...
Oh, I know you're not. I'm just saying in general, sorry.
I'm just saying, like, the cheapest way to get into any of it is Kill Team.
Yeah.
And, because I'd even say Warcry is too expensive at this point. And that's the fantasy-based skirmish game they got.
Yeah.
Effectively, you get that, you get the basic rules, you throw some books and coffee cans on a coffee table.
Coffee cans?
Yeah, you like the containers you get coffee in, like from the store.
I know what a coffee can is, I'm just amused by the fact that you're referencing that.
Oh, this is...
As much coffee as I drink, you don't think I know what the fuck a coffee can is?
No, I'm just explaining in case some other people don't. Like, I don't know if that's the parlance anymore.
It depends. Some of it still comes in cans.
Coffee containers.
A lot of time now it comes in like jars, buckets.
So what's that coffee container? That's an oil container. Wow. It's full of like explosives. Not anything that the FBI can get me on. It's imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah, it's just imagination. Just imagine it as like one of those big oil silos. That's the word. But, you know,
that
you
is
throw
an ugly son of a bitch right there. Wow.
Some of that on the table.
Is that motherfucker's name literally Scream Crawler?
Well, that's a name.
What in the fuck? Health potion.
And then you can, if you and your friend have a team, and but by the way, that's why I suggest getting the rulebook, so you know how to assemble a team.
Yeah.
Because teams have their individual like layouts or some individual rulings for them. And you can play a game in an hour, and it's usually pretty decent. As a rule set, it's okay. Hey, when you consider 40k and fantasy, and then Age of Sigmar,
Yeah,
if
no,
I was,
get it.
if I was gonna suggest somebody, one, I would probably tell most people, yeah, if you're interested in this, get Frostgrave, Stargrave, 5 parsecs from home. They're all cheaper. They don't care what models you use. You can use basically models from any company. They all do similar things, and I think 5 parsecs can actually be played by yourself. It's like a little AI system. It's not an electronic. It's a piece, like in the rules they have a thing of, okay, well, the enemy will have, if it has this or that, you will roll on this chart, and that's what the enemy will do. So you actually don't have full control over
Off
what
you
the
go,
enemy
Brigitte.
does.
Deliver this stuff to the town.
They're all miniature as
Did Syl send you after me?
basically you can use
Must've thought
any
I was in
miniatures
over
you
my
want.
head
Because
again.
for some reason
Well,
I
she's
can't say
right.
that word.
These monsters are getting stronger, and I could use your help.
Dude, what the fuck
I'm
is
going
that
after the
sword?
fiend that was attacking Syl on the bridge. Will you join me?
Yeah,
What
sure,
is
dude. Why
that?
not?
Wink, wink. So that's a few games. There's even more games coming out that are on that. Kill Team itself is pretty decent. There's a lot of, like, you can get into it pretty deep if
Jeez,
you
Bridget,
want.
you think you could have run faster? How the hell did you get back already?
Teleportation.
She's not supposed to be able to do that.
She had a townsfolk. But yeah, Kill Team, if you insist on going GW mainline, is a really good entry point. It has a starkly lower amount of buy-in. You can also go on eBay and get a team. Trust me. You can just buy a bunch of old, like, mini Marine.
Ow, how did that fucking hit me, dicks? Whatever. Hey, you. Rat face. Hold still. I'll just take those, thank you very much. You don't need that either, obviously.
Then if you get into it, and you get into the painting and
Ooh, wow,
customization,
actually way better than I remember it being.
you can basically go nuts. So that's a good one. Plus, anything you make for Kill Team, you can use in those other games. Not Frostgrave, because Frostgrave is more fantasy focused.
Yeah.
But Stargrave, 5 parsecs from home, and there's some, there's a couple others I can't
More
remember,
spiders.
but you can use them in there. So, if you like GW's miniatures, they're expensive.
Grenade out,
and
motherfucker.
you go, yeah, I could get the miniatures, but on the investment into the normal mainline game.
Yeah, because, let's be real, 40k is prohibitively fucking expensive, especially with some people's budget.
And Games Workshop calls themselves a luxury hobby, so they just put the prices
talk about
high.
total bullshit, right?
But Kill Team is a really good way to get in. It has a pretty decent rule system, and once you have that and you know you like skirmish games, that's a really good way to do it, by the way. Also, go to Warhammer Community if you're going to try it. Download the quick start rules and try those. Do as little purchasing as possible before.
Now, for those of us who don't spend a lot of time on the online Warhammer stuff, what is Warhammer Community?
Oh, okay. Warhammer Community is basically their buy our stuff website.
I guess that's laying it out pretty simply.
It is a lame attempt by Warhammer, and I will give people some backstory. Games Workshop for a decade or more called themselves a miniature company. Refused to produce much in the way of rules, and they all but ignored people going, hey, could you fix this? Hey, this is something I'm interested in. Do you think you could do that? They've worked for decades or more. I can't put my thumb directly on how long they did it.
No, that makes sense.
But they cut communication off So Warhammer community is like their look, we actually listen. They don't. They don't listen to you, trust me. But you can go on it, and it's just warhammercommunity.com, and you can download. There should be a kill team quick start rule set on it. It's not massive. It's not got a huge amount going for it. But they have that, and I believe they have a free kill team rule, or a squad, and I think it's the, God, what are they called? They have stupid names.
They generally do.
It's the Primaris Phobos kill team.
Gotcha.
They have their full rule set is up there for free. That's probably, if you buy anything, unless you're really into the classic Marines, where you probably find your first miniatures, and those guys are so damn cheap on eBay. They're a really good buy-in, even if you don't care about Space Marines.
Whoa! Shit. Your mind
but if you're me, here's an idea, and it's a really basic one. You take a piece of paper, you fold it in half, and you have two little tabs on the bottom.
Hell no. Die.
And then you write the name of whatever operative is that is representing, and you use that. It's a little paper standee. Don't invest until you know you like it.
Yeah, because it is quite a fucking investment. I know that.
Because I remember
we
back in the day,
spent a lot of money just on basic Warhammer shit over time.
Yep, and I'm very frugal. But because I remember back in the day, I think it was a white dwarf. I actually purchased this white dwarf, and in the back they had these this paper sheets that you could cut out with little squares.
For anybody who's not aware, by the way, White Dwarf is a gaming magazine.
It's a gaming magazine. Sorry. And it had little paper squares that you cut out individually, and they had the individual name of the units.
What was that?
To try the game out with before you owned any miniatures.
There were strange bat people in this month.
But that's one good thing that you can try if you're interested.
Hey, get out of here, dude.
That's one of those sad things. Is as much as I love Warhammer, I hate the fact that I'm just like.
Well, it's one of those instances where we really like the product, we like the game, we don't like the company in particular. They've turned into a bunch of fucking assholes, and they have been for quite a while.
And I can sit here and complain for hours.
And we have occasionally.
On how much I dislike their marketing. And the way they treat the game.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could just sit here and whine about it. The fact that they treat their damn books like DLC. Oof. I hate that. I hate every single element of that. And that just drives me absolutely nuts. So,
yeah.
To prevent myself from going on about that, there's a lot of different games out there. Try them out that way. Do them as cheaply as you can initially. And, you know, if you have a friend, a spouse that might find it interesting, things like that. Though, a lot of times I've found that women don't actually prefer the more competitive games. They prefer the more cooperative ones. So ones where you're like going against the game itself.
And to be fair, that's not even necessarily a woman thing. Sometimes I just feel like doing cooperative stuff even.
No, I'm not saying that. I didn't actually say anything negative about it. I'm just saying that in some cases, like if you have a spouse or a girlfriend, try to go to the cooperative route. Because that will actually be a more bonding experience than like, I'm now going to crush you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not actually. putting a negative on
I
that.
come into this room and all I hear is "Argh!" and shit just starts coming out of this fucking well.
Pee Wee Herman in there. But yeah, no, I didn't mean to indicate any negative on that. I'm just saying that
Oh god, they're back again.
in my experience, a lot of ladies, let's call them that, did not actually like the more competitive stuff. They preferred the more cooperative.
And
Nothing
honestly,
wrong.
if we're talking about new players here, I'm gonna be real. The competitive Warhammer scene is kind of a fucking dickhead factory anyway.
And I don't necessarily mean tournaments. I'm not talking tournaments. Tournaments, when I'm talking tournaments, I will see tournaments. Tournaments. But, yeah, a lot of people aren't necessarily going to want to just jump into, you know, getting whooped.
Yeah.
So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, give things a try, and go from there. Personally, I've had a lot of fun with the game over the years. I'm also smart enough to be able to point to all the weaknesses I've seen throughout the years, too.
Yeah.
Like, I could do an entire episode just tearing down the predatory way in which they treat editions. And, then make a comparison to a lot of other companies. So, for example, someone might say, oh, but you're suggesting companies that sell the rules while you're complaining that the other company sells the rules. And I'm like, yeah, here's the difference. Games Workshop wants me to buy their models.
Yeah.
And then they want me to buy the rules. These other companies just want me to buy the rules.
Yep.
So, I can use here's one that's probably somewhat closer to what people would be interested in with modern pop culture. Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Huh.
All you purchase from that game is the models and the terrain, if you want it.
Yeah.
The rest, the rules are free.
Which is not terrible.
Star Wars Legion. You just buy the models. The rules are free. Games Workshop. You buy the models, then you buy the rules.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they don't give you more cost-effective things. Like, one simple thing that would shut a lot of people up with Games Workshop is if they just put out, like, basic versions of the rulebooks.
Yeah.
Like, here is all of the lore cut out of this book in a softcover format for $14.99 or whatever. Tons of people would be so happy that they just get positive press, and they're still overcharging, in my opinion.
They are. They generally speaking do about everything.
Or they could even do this, and this would be like literally even less effort than just a basic book. Give a free PDF with every physical book purchase.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to check something real quick off the stream.
Oh, okay. So for example, that's what we're talking about. That's how predatory, in a lot of ways, Games Workshop is towards its fan base.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Or, as they can refer to them, consumer base.
Which is you know, the minute a company starts calling their customers consumers, start to know they don't really give a shit.
They have no respect for you. You should be referred to as a customer.
A customer, a fan, something, you know?
I think in official speak, and like, we're talking financial reports, by the way, where they refer to people as consumers.
Like, this is, and I know I'm constantly talking about Flying Wild Hog and fucking,
You have triggered a
oh
trap.
lord, I forgot the name. Cold Iron Studios, but that's because they don't treat their customers like dog shit.
Also, I'm a customer.
Yeah.
I'm the least favored version of person that purchased your product.
It's like Flying Wild Hog and Cold Iron Studios, when they're talking about stuff, they tend to call people either fans or players or customers. They don't call you consumers.
At least as far as I know.
Nothing I've ever read on their forums.
And at the end of the day, that is the common courtesy that should be extended from all companies to the people who purchase their product. But the unfortunate thing is we live in an era where most of these companies just assume they're owed your money.
Yeah.
And that is, as far as I'm concerned, part of the problem is that they don't respect the people who purchase their items and like their game and keep it alive. And that goes down to the point where I can talk about how much I like Warhammer, and then at the same time turn around and go, yeah, there's a lot of better options. Because I look at these other options and I'm like, well, there are other ways to enjoy this kind of hobby and not spend this kind of money. And I'm doing it on like a budget version where I purchase things like way after the hype for like discounted prices, and I still feel like it's highway robbery.
Yeah, you won't hear me arguing.
And I shouldn't say that about something I actually like.
No,
Game-
not generally.
So that's why whenever I talk to somebody who might be interested, I mention a load of other games they could potentially try, because the worst thing this is my idea, my thought on it, as I stumble over my words.
It's alright, man.
If somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, I'm interested in this hobby that you're involved in. Can you tell me about it? Give me some suggestions. It's why I offload, hey, here's a piece of paper, check these games out. Try Warhammer or, Kill Team, and do it like you do these things before you commit to it. And the reason I tell them these other games is that person purchases a box of Warhammer miniatures, they're going to go one of two ways. They will never, ever investigate any other parts of the hobby that might actually entertain them, because they'll feel burned, or they'll feel like, oh shit, they'll have the lost cost fallacy thrust upon them, and they'll start investing in it even if they don't enjoy it, because they're like, well, then I've invested this much and I'm not doing it. And it's like, look, there are tons of different ways to enjoy this hobby. You don't have to play this one game. So if somebody does make the leap and purchase a box and they find they don't like Kill Team or Warhammer 40K or whatever, then they have these other games that they can try at a way less price. Like, you could literally buy all three of those games for about the same price as you buy a box of Warhammer. So that's the reason I suggest it. And those are the agnostic games. If you want one that I feel a lot more people should like than they really do, it's Bolt Action. It's
what is it now?
Bolt Action is a war game. I think it's done by Warrior Games. It's based on World War II, but it's not a historical war game. So it is.
Okay, hold up a minute, dude. Josh, wait. Do yourself a favor. Pop out of Discord and pop back in. You're roboting really bad.
Oh, hold on a second. How am I doing?
Much better.
Okay, I don't know what happened there.
It does. Sometimes it can just do that.
So where did I leave off?
You were talking about that war game.
Oh, Bolt Action?
Yeah.
Alright. Bolt Action has two versions. There's the one that's based on World War II, and then there's like a Weird Wars version, like if the war continued and super science got involved. They have like werewolf units and things like that. It's crazy. And walking tanks and jet troopers. But as things are, in general, it's cheaper. It has a fairly large selection of items. It's the only other game like this that I feel comfortable suggesting, and the rules are fairly light. You can get tanks for way less money than what you'd pay
There's
for a
a
lot of
weird
Warhammer
thing, a
stuff.
weird thing we noticed recently with Games Workshop 2 is how much cheaper certain stuff has started getting while other stuff has gotten more expensive.
Oh, and it's really a basic reason for it too. Because, for example, we were in the friendly local game store, or Collective in Fort Worth. Throw that in there. Not sponsored.
No.
But we were looking at Horse Heresy releases. Now, quick rundown on that. That is a derivative game from Warhammer 40k. It's a kind of like a precursor to a lot of the foundations of 40k.
Yep.
The reason I think, because when we were there and we were looking at it, we're like, these prices are a lot better than 40k. In context to 40k, they're better.
Yeah. They're still a little expensive, but nowhere near as bad.
So it definitely has a different tone to it. But that's because in general, Horus Heresy, you end up having more units. And if you had Warhammer 40k prices on 30k,
fucking impossible.
You would not. It would be a dead game on Arrival. And that just tells you how abused the hobby community is for the hobbyist. That's a good term. The hobbyist of Warhammer are that they looked at the Horus Heresy releases and they're like, wow, that's a massive deal. Because the only people looking at it and thinking it was a deal is people who've been around for Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy.
Ow. Yeah, and know how much that crap normally costs you.
And you're like, whew, oh boy, this is so much better. It's ridiculous. When you think of
Random
it,
ass money here, some random ass town portal here. Why is it just sitting there?
Well, you know.
No, I don't. It's kind of the worry. It's like I don't know why that's just sitting there.
It's a trap!
No, it's a
Now
boss.
I have you. What have you done with
That's
all
technically a trap. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to answer you.
I am here, Brink.
Oh, look,
I
an
sent
asshole.
for Syl, but I don't recall inviting you or your friend.
Well,
You may still
at the end of the day,
useful, however.
that will be my symposium on Warhammer.
You be still, you old fuck monkey.
Oh wow, that should be on a shirt, man. Be still, you old fuck monkey.
Yeah, this asshole's in here like blah 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 blah. Be still. Oh, well, that's gonna make the sorceress real happy. Just turned her friend into a fucking monster.
Oh, that helps. Yeah, I always love it when I piss off sorceresses.
Hey, thank you.
Always comes up Millhouse there.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Let's see, who haven't I pissed off today? Oh, the sorceress. Well, gotta get my checklist down.
Reminds me of that scene from my book where Grayson was explaining to his ex-girlfriend why she didn't want to piss her Meriden off.
Well, yeah. No, his ex-girlfriend was quite the fetching.
What has happened? My friend.
And the sorceress just walks in.
Dang it!
You say this is Ulrich's doing? His summons was a trap.
Yes, because
Why?
Ulrich is a
The
douchebag.
corruption here must have overwhelmed his mind. I can't believe it's so
Well,
powerful.
who could have seen that coming?
A new quest.
Somebody who realized that Ulrich was a douchebag, I guess.
Well,
Pick
I
up
guess
some of
there's
this
that.
stuff and see if I got anything useful in this mess. A ring. Ooh. Permanently decreases. Okay, I'll take that.
Aren't you happy? Gosh.
Nah, not really.
Oh, fine. Jeez.
Alright, Bridget, go take that stuff to
Your pet has departed.
Try to increase the happiness index. People are like 9.
I got a scope. Let's see, where do we want to put that?
It's something useful.
Flame trap. What's this do? Frost pile. Ooh, interesting. Critical strikes. Give me that. We can use that.
My God. What class are you playing?
You know what class I'm playing. The Vanquisher, the class Commander Vale was from the second one.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the freaking name.
Okay.
I was sitting there going, yeah, it's the one that does it has the name, you know? Yeah.
It's the Marksman class. Because it's everything here.
It's the ones with the shooty bang bangs.
Back to town. Go turn in some of this stuff.
Just don't be Velma, otherwise they'll throw you under the bus.
God, that's so stupid.
It's like, yeah, that's dumb.
Very.
Well, hello.
Well, hello. What the hell do you want with your goofy hat?
Money.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you about that momentarily, dude. I got other shit I gotta take care of first, alright?
You got to get
There's random children running.
evil
I'm a bit
little
overwhelmed, friend.
malformed
My master is
creatures.
lost, and I feel responsible
Actually,
for
yeah,
your corruption
children
as
are
well.
good.
Somehow the blighted ember is fusing with your flesh.
They're actually the future.
Find the Overseer's Library. Lady, how the fuck am I supposed to know where that is?
I don't know, guess.
I found a robotic bard. Who is responsible for that?
Good day. Hello there. You have begun a new quest.
I cannot comprehend why someone would make a robot bard. I don't think you can either.
Because they're horrible human beings.
Take that. I have a weapon that can use that, so that's not really an issue. None of those are especially good, so somebody's selling a lot of stuff. That can stay there, that can stay there. Where is the blacksmith guy? He's over here.
Yeah, bloop.
The bloop? What's a
The
bloop?
Blook. He's the Blucksmith. The Blucksmith.
Yeah, there's a tree.
There we go.
Gems,
Oh.
remember?
B-L-O-K.
Tria is an elf, apparently.
Oh, there we go.
Summon skeleton food. That is really expensive. Fireball. Yes, give me that. Now let's see. We have this. Yeah, I'll hold on to those. Sell weapons, but they're all magic. That does not help me.
Bye!
Let's see. What am I doing? That was not what I wanted to do there. And I just taught Ginger how to use a fireball spell. Or not Ginger, Brigitte. Wrong game.
You mislabeled your animal! How dare you!
Nah, okay. Let's see. Okay, so she can use that spell now. Now let's go talk to this guy. What's the deal with you?
Oh, hello.
Text, love you, babe. And then you think about it, and then you text to follow up, and you're like, oops, wrong number.
Ha! Miner. Who's this guy? Oh, here's the blacksmith.
Good day to you.
Good day to you.
Dear Lord.
That's a nice pistol.
I blacksmithed it in the back. With a little blacksmithing as well.
You know what? Give me that. And do I have enough to get another one? Just a normal one. 25, 60. It's 29. No, don't take that. There. Okay, close
Take
that.
care now.
Sure, boo. Yep, sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Let's see. Okay, let's see. That there. This here. There we go. Now we have an alternate set of weapons. Now let's see if I've talked to everybody I can. I don't have anything to stash. Let's go this way. Let's go in this weirdo's portal, I guess.
Well, that makes sense.
It's a big glowing fucking pistol. Nothing in this table. Oh, undead. Oh. And that guy had a spear, despite the fact he was not carrying a spear at any point. Makes sense to me. Not really.
Dear God.
No. Bad. Way.
Those all seem like things that aren't likely to happen.
Well, he's dead. Again. So he went
Well,
away. He
for
definitely
now.
went away.
Unless he's a certain king in the Diablo series.
Watching my wolf launch a fucking fireball is some of the funniest shit. If I remember in Torchlight 2, I had Ginger like with a fireball spell, a heal, and like the ability to summon skeleton archers.
I think your dog might have been a warlock. Or at least a light level necromancer. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody. At any point,
ask for your opinion either, asshole. That guy had a handgun. Let's have a look at it real quick. Steel handgun. I have an identifier score. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely. That handgun does 66 fucking damage.
It's 3 short of the proper number.
Oh, shut your face. That's a nice one, too.
I wonder how many people pause and they do the little math in their head and be like, "Oh, I get it."
I don't know.
If you're one of those people, please make a comment. I just want to know for, humor's sake.
Of course it does.
No, I just want to know how many people actually had to stop the video and do the math. That's all.
Well, that's all my identify scrolls. Nothing in there. Let's go up here. There's some gold in there. Charged scepter. Oh yeah, that's gonna do me a lot of good. The gold will help. I'll take that belt. There's some more gold just laying here on the floor. You guys are really fucking sloppy. You're leaving money everywhere. There's a whole bunch of assholes over here. Hey, Robert and Shannon, that's a lovely Get the fuck out of here. What the hell's that? Leather vambraces. Okay, I'll check those out in a minute.
It's always good when you find a good set of leather cuffs. Find a dungeon. Where else would you find them, son? I just like the idea of like some old, like grizzled soldier guy saying that.
I'll take that too. Thank you very much. You didn't need it. You were already dead.
I'm Sergeant McGrizzleflesh, and I tell you what.
Sounds like an undead general.
Not yet. They have dragged me to hell yet, son. They're gonna have to do that fight. It's kind of a parody on a guy I knew from the military. It was a old vet. He still talked that way too. He changed nothing since the 1950s.
Well, sometimes what's the point?
I think he literally stopped caring in the 1950s.
Well, I mean, I guess you reach a certain point in your life, and it's just like, I can't keep up with this shit. Why bother?
I don't care.
Your pet has departed.
He even did the old military jab. When he's talking about somebody and he just starts jabbing those fingers right into your chest, and you're like,
got something. Tome of Revelation. Oh, good.
I found the guy delightful, but a lot of other people did.
Sounds like a couple of guys I've spoken to while I was hanging out at the VA waiting to see the doctor.
Oh yeah. I grew up military, so for me, I was like, yeah, this is normal.
It makes perfect sense to me, but it's probably going to be off-putting to most people who ain't never dealt with it.
Then I went into the civilian world.
Oh God, tell me about it. Transitioning back from the military to civilian life was
fun.
No, it was. That's not the
still
word I would ever use.
I still remember this person coming up to me, and they're like, blah, 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 and I'm like,
what?
Suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah.
And this lady got so angry at me.
They tend to.
I didn't even work in departments.
Yeah, I love the people who they just come up to you and they just assume that you work there. It's like, I don't even remotely look like a fucking employee, asshole.
You know what triggered this?
What?
I saw a piece of trash on the floor, so I picked it up and I put it in the trash can.
Oh,
so she assumed
that you were a fucking...
So she starts berating me, and I tell her, and the polite version was to go to a bridge and take a flying leap off it. Amongst other things, I said, because, didn't care.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this lady, she had a full-blown, just come apart on me about how terrible the store was and how I should have lost my job. Then she had a mental breakdown.
Really?
I just started crying, and I'm like,
why the fuck would that affect you in that way? What the fuck is the matter with you?
I'm like, lady, I don't work here.
So fucking weird.
It didn't help that I moved into working at a truck yard.
No, I imagine not.
So you're just screaming at people, unloading profanity, because, they're large trucks moving in confined spaces.
And it's like, hey, you don't want to be in that place right now.
Then I went into customer service.
That was a mistake.
That was not a job move I wanted, but they were like, well, we need someone there. You have the most experience. And I'm like, no. Well, that's where we want you to be. I hated that job. Every element of that job. I hate the civilian workforce.
Yeah?
It's a bunch of fragile people walking on eggshells, not saying or doing anything, and then most of the corporate speak half the companies want you to do. Dear
Oh,
Lord.
God, no, I don't even want to talk about that.
They try to train you to have a corporate response to everything. So I always ended up the least favored.
Oh, man, office jobs are the fucking worst. I mean, just no joke. Hands down, the worst shit ever.
Oh, yes, sir. We have that part. But, you can go down the block to this other shop, and they have it for, $20, $50 less.
Right.
Oh, thanks. Why'd you do that? My job's to help the customer.
The miners chipped their way down.
Yeah, but they didn't buy anything.
Unaware of the tombs below.
Yeah.
When they finally break through,
seriously.
I hope they are
What the fuck
wise
did you
enough
want?
to
I
flee,
did what I'm
collapsing
supposed
their
to.
tunnels behind them.
I care about
This
that guy
bond was
eventually
rightly
coming back
sealed.
and purchasing
It was an
things, because he might
experiment
actually
as
just come
completed
back
as
to
well.
us and make
Their
purchases
ancestors
at a higher
handled it
price
not
point
with
because he
life,
likes the
but with the
service.
same
Right.
dark energy.
That's not
flows
how
through
we
the
do things
ember
here. I'm like,
veins.
okay, what?
Separating out the vileness is impossible.
Why do you have me as a salesperson?
Immortality lies forever beyond our reach.
I'm not fit for it. I could sell people on things, but I'm not going to do it by lying to them.
Yeah, that seems counterintuitive, honestly, but a lot of them expect it.
They want that quick sell now. No, there's no long-term thinking.
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest problems with corporate culture is there's literally... You're a corporation, you're meant to last a long time, but your forward thinking lasts about 10 minutes.
Oh, if you're lucky, it's 10 minutes.
It's like you do not ever think in the long term, which would benefit you a lot if you would bother.
That, and there was that... Like I've said, I really don't like the term consumer.
Oh, yeah.
That started creeping into the language used when a customer would come in, because I always preferred customer.
Yeah.
And I always assumed it was someone coming in and just trying to find a product for the best price, the best quality, and the best service.
Because that's what people do.
And most of these places are like, yeah, just treat them like pay pigs. And I'm like...
Yeah, most people don't like that. It doesn't
Yeah.
really appreciate
You,
that shit.
you make a sell today, then they realize that they got a broad deal, and then they never come back to your store.
Pretty
Unless you're
fucking
the
much.
only option in town. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I was always bad at it. Always did a terrible job at doing
Well, the
that
problem
kind
is, by technicality, in truth, you were better than they were, but they didn't want to do it the right way.
I cared more about making sure the customer got the best. And unfortunately, most businesses don't really care that much about it. And like I would go in and say, it's like, I'm an idiot, but I'm willing to learn. I don't know anything, but I'll find out.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, being honest.
I didn't go in assuming I knew anything. So I always treated it as, well, I'm going to go in, I'm going to learn, figure out the job.
A lot of fucking points. What the shit? Hey, Bridget, get out of here.
And go from there. But, boy. Boy, does the service industry not suit me. And unfortunately, the labor department is closing to me at this point due to my needs.
Yeah.
And anyone is wondering, it's a number of injuries to my knees and an inherited arthritis.
Oh yeah, that's always fucking fun.
Because my family has had arthritis throughout the generations, and it's always in the knees. At least it's not as bad as my aunt who has it in her hands.
Hey, yeah.
Unfortunately, she's a lovely lady, wonderful person, short as sin. But I gotta make a joke when I breach something like that.
No,
Another element of me being around the military is to talk about something dark and then make a joke about it.
That's the best way to deal with certain types of shit.
Well, sometimes you gotta lighten the mood. You gotta pick things up because you can't dwell on it.
Yeah.
But, so I'm trying to figure out a way forward. Because I could end up like my Uncle Roy and having to have both knees worked on.
Yeah.
And I don't really look forward to that because
most people
he's managed to work his entire life, but he's in agony all the time.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. But you know, I am not made for service jobs.
I don't think either one of us is. We both tried.
You know, just because I think the problem was I went in thinking the wrong way from what most companies want. And not the wrong way for the customer, the wrong way for the business. And I understand. So it's important, if you're a younger person, to understand the concept that your boss doesn't necessarily end up needing to be a greedy person. They're not necessarily greedy or evil for wanting to make sales. The thing is that they have to look at a wider perspective than you. Because they're going, look, people depend on the store being open for products. People depend on this job and these multiple jobs to feed their families, take care of themselves, and have houses and such and such and such. Or, you know, roof over your head.
Yeah.
So, your boss might be very stressed, because I actually remember working in a couple places where when my boss was doing his quarterly, I actually saw him puking in his trash can. He was so freaking worked up about it.
Jeez.
Because it was that stressful, because he was straining between making sure that they made enough sales every day to pay everybody, enough sales to pay taxes, enough to take care of the bills, and it was this constant, like, super stress level. And I always understood why he got angry and upset and agitated, because you would also be that way if you're under that level of stress.
Well, it's like a lot of people hated First Sergeant Berger in my unit, and I remember him when he was like running the motor pool. He was the motor sergeant, and I'm like, no, I kind of get why he acts the way he does. Like, it's kind of a shitty job sometimes. All he wants to do, literally by his own admission, is go home, drink, and hang out with his dog. He's like, he doesn't want to be here late any more than anybody else does, but he ain't got a choice.
The people I got along the best with in the military were sergeants.
Yeah.
And depending, old blood and guts, got along well with them. Basically, a lot of the harder working people who had very stressful jobs, a lot of people think that, oh, you get to these higher positions of power, it's easy. No, it's a lot more stress. Especially just a sergeant, because in times of risk, you have to make a lot of decisions and take a lot of actions that can cost people's lives.
Yeah.
And that, if you take that casually, You should be drummed out of the military so damn hard you can feel the boot print.
I
on
mean,
your ass.
even an old British horror film, fucking Dog Soldiers, there's a line in there from Sean Pertwee's character where he's like, sometimes you have to remember that the lives you take are your own men.
Yeah, you are the one that's going to pick, in some cases, who has to go out and die. Or potentially die. Let's be perfectly honest. It's not an easy job, and it's not easy running stores, especially stores without safety.
Yeah.
Because I worked in a lot of independent businesses, and that is some stressful stuff right there.
Yeah.
It's rough. So always think of it in a wider perspective. And the thing is, if you want to be a superstar at work, this is the simple formula to do it. Be willing to work and be positive.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need anything else. Because
I mean, you ain't gotta be like Mary Sunshine or nothing, but you can't be an asshole all the time.
you're positive about your, like, the basic thing is, I'm here to work, I want to work, and I'm going to give my all on that. And I know that doesn't sound very glamorous for especially a lot of younger people, but that will leave an impression that could lead you to better things.
Yep.
Because the customers are going to react to a happy worker who is eager to do the best for them possible, even if they can't get the thing that person wants. They're going to remember you. Your boss is going to appreciate it, because I bet 9 times out of 10, your boss has to deal with people who don't want to be there, and he knows it. People that hate him, and he knows it. The least bit you can do to at least pull some stress off him, he's going to remember that. He's going to go, okay, do I buy it? First person in here 10 years. And he tells me every single day how much.
Discord hates you today. You're roboting out again.
Again?
Yeah.
Hold on. Am I not doing it anymore?
You're good now.
I try to go on a helpful
I am
speech
overburdened.
for
I have no idea what was going on
goes out.
there, honestly.
It's like, no, robot. I don't know. It's just probably being weird. I don't get it.
I don't either, sorry.
It's weirdness, but that's life sometimes. But yeah, just be positive. It'll get you further. I had a whole spiel and I cut it down to that.
Well, you know, sometimes it's just how you gotta go.
And
Your
sometimes it's all you
pet
can
has
do.
departed.
But yeah. All these years later, I still struggle with the civilian market.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. I don't handle domestic stress well. I like legitimately know better how to deal with getting shot at or something like that. 'Cause at least then I know what the fuck to do.
You can compartmentalize that.
Yeah.
That's expected. You know? If you're in a combat situation, you expect to get shot at. It's just you and the other guy doing your collective jobs. You can
Your
mentally
pet
just
has
put
returned.
that in there, register it away, and you're fine. Now,
Pretty much, yeah.
a lot of the stuff you see during that whole little exchange will come back and not be fine. But in that moment, yeah. Domestic stress? Oh, jeez. Like, good luck. Find a healthy way to deal with basic day-to-day stress, and you'll go a lot further in life.
Yeah, probably. I still ain't quite learned it.
Well, it's a learning experience.
I've been doing it for fucking years now, and I still ain't got it.
Well, I was always really good at dealing with stress to a degree, not necessarily for myself, but others.
Anything you
Because I could make things systematic. I could be like, okay, this is our problem. We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and in this order, and we're going to do it now. Yeah, I was still stressed out, but I could get things done, and that was always one of my advantages. Now, later on, that stress catches up to you, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And then you think about some of the stuff that went on, and you're like, oh, geez.
Basically.
And your decisions later on can come back and haunt you, but like just as a little bit of advice for me, don't dwell on it.
Yes, it doesn't.
Forgive yourself and move on, because if you hold some of those bad choices made during like a stress, and the only way you can do something is to get things done, and you come back and regret some of it, you're gonna have a hard time in life. And I understand why you would, but sometimes you just have to move on, and that's harder to do than say.
Yeah, so, very much so.
Oh wow, this recording is turned into Josh giving advice.
Hey, if you got it, you might as well share it with somebody.
Or as my grandfather would refer to me, Josh.
Yeah, well, Joe had a unique way.
He had an accent. Josh, come over here. It's like, okay. At least I knew who I was.
This rifle she's got right now is like that one rifle Magoichi got in Samurai Warriors 4. It's like it's a rifle with like a short sword on it, not a bayonet.
I call it a bayonet. That's a short sword. It's a bayonet. No, it's not. Technically, it's on the rifle, therefore it's a bayonet.
Alright guys, it's been a little over an hour for this one. I don't want to do like I did since these are recordings with Torchlight 2 and have it be like a 4-hour episode, because that will take up a shitload of space and it will take forever to upload it. So I'm going to stop here for now. These are going to get uploaded this week. There will be links to my book, like I said. Excuse me, I have to deal with a cat. Rita, stop fighting. You can't get up here right now. There's no room.
But thank you for watching and enduring my constant rambling. And I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful night. And, well, later.
Later, everybody.